Welcome back, everybody. This is cuzmegustan. In the last part, we did a lot of things. We helped Nicolo, the thieving bastard. We grew some plants, and we helped a bunch of pirates from getting stoned. And in this part, as you can see, we have put down a new land, which is known as the jungle, and we are going to casually meander there and meet 3 more characters with a new story arc, as well as a couple more penguins that aren't pirates, and a wisdom named after a character from Animal Crossing, even though this game came out first. Please listen up, this is your lucky day. You go catch Ducate and bring its tail back, and what'll happen? I don't know. Jeez, just don't get it, do ya? So what happens? He'll cancel our debt for us. Ain't that right, Mr. Fuddy-Duddy? I am not Mr. Fuddy-Duddy. Please address me as Sotheby. And your debt will not be completely cancelled either. The 10 billion million... Count your zeros. Count your zeros. Duh. How come we owe you so much money? We're just house cleaners at your boss's Marilyn Manson. I did not cheat you. You must pay for all the things you broke. So these two appear to be in cahoots with another swindler. Potential swindler, at least. And they are in a massive amount of debt. And Ducate is the key to solving that debt. So let's chase after them. On second thought, it appears we need to quickly turn around. And this guy is chasing around a little pea, Wilwilpea, as he would say. And if you bump into him, the Wilwilpea will walk away, run away, and you can go and follow it, because it now sees you as a hero that defended it from the evil Mr. Fuddy-Duddy. Now, fun fact, and I have no idea if there's actually a connection here, but a friend of mine told me that the French word for pea is pronounced pois. And if these guys, when you talk to them, they go pois. And that there's more to that pois than meets the eye, but I mean, it's not an impossibility that there is a connection there, and I just thought it was interesting. And it's also possible that my friend is completely wrong, and if that's the case, feel free to yell at me. But we're going to follow him because it'll take us somewhere important. Hopefully, unless I'm wrong. Nope, he took us somewhere important. This quest mainly consists of you chasing down Skippy and Hamson. And eventually, through sheer dumb luck, they'll lead you to where you want to go. And I am quite prone to getting lost, and I hope that I don't get too terribly lost. But it's a possibility. And this is where you want to go, because the landscape of this land will, or the jungle being this land, will actually change depending on what you do. So you need to come here and defeat these enemies, and then a penguin will appear and give you an ability to see into the garden or into the jungle better. And then you'll be able to progress, which is always a step that I forget, but I remembered it this time because I just did this yesterday. And unfortunately my recording software crashed. I don't know what it is about it. It's just I can never record more than a couple parts at a time. Not to mention I was getting completely lost all over the place, and I was making a short quest take about 25 minutes, and it was just thoroughly embarrassing. So it was probably all for the best. But now that we have that, we will be able to progress to the right. If you hadn't gotten that, you would notice that your map doesn't look quite the same as mine. And we've run into Hamson. And we've run into treasure. Rotten meat. Delicious. Carry on this way, Hanson. Oh, something's going on over that way. Get ready. Okay, you slow buffoon. I will follow you into the night. Guess you didn't find nothing yet, huh? It's no decay, but there's an animal back there. Hey, maybe we can get more dough for that one. Duh, it's gonna be money? That's not the right way. Listen to me for once. And then if we talk to Skippy, we will send him on his way. He went into fairies territory. That sounds bad. So if we go investigate what Skippy was talking about, you will see that there's another penguin here of little importance at the moment. And this big lion-esque thing that this friggin' penguin is in the way. Get out of the way. Please, God, come on. Please, thank you. Ducade have been causing a lot of trouble around here lately. Try working the others to catch him. So that's another step that I commonly forget, is that you need to talk to him in order to progress. Technically you can go to where the boss should be, but you can't actually do anything there. And this is the area of fairies that Skippy was talking about. If you go there, they send you back to the entrance, which is what I wanted to do. But yeah, make sure that you talk to Rossetti, and he'll tell you that you should work with the others, so you need to go track them down for, again, I did not want to change screens, although I believe Hamson is over here, so maybe I did. Oh, I just can't find him. How about you and me work together? Work with him. Duh, thanks, I'll ramble through here and make a lot of noise, and you need to go and find Skippy. Skippy! Now, Skippy says that there's no way we can catch him he can catch him by himself, and we need to work with him too. And you want to ignore the fact that they went that way, and the path I believe you want to take is this way. I could be completely wrong though. Nope, I'm not. So Skippy somehow ended up over here. We'll not dwell on the physics of that, but if you just keep talking to these two, they'll eventually end up heading down the path that you want to take. You basically just want to keep going to the right. I think after a while they'll stop appearing, and you'll just keep going to the right, to the right, to the right, as Beyonce's evil twin would say. So from here on out, this quest is pretty straightforward. It starts out a little confusing. I know when I was smaller and had less capacity for understanding things, this quest used to give me a lot of trouble, and it still does, as I've mentioned. I've been known to get lost a few times, a few more times than I would like to admit. Treasure. Poison powder. Useful for poisoning your enemies. And tomatoes and cockatrices. Tomato Man. He's not a man, he's a bear. It's Bear Tomato. Bear-tato, perhaps. Except I'm pretty sure Bear-tato is a potato, not a tomato. But potato, tomato. So we will hack these guys down. I did not end up off-screen grinding yet. I'll be sure to do that probably after I'm done with this, and I'll build up a few special abilities so that I can start learning some special techniques, because I'm sure seeing the same animation over and over again isn't very exciting. Fucking spiny cones! Fucking Marlboros! These enemies are known as Marlboros. They're not in any way similar to the look of other Marlboros in the Final Fantasy series. And quite frankly, I'm a little disappointed, because I like the way that those Marlboros look over these. And you remember this guy? He is not as strong as he once was. And it's not even the same character. It's a Tyrannosaur? Something to that effect. But he explodes into a lot of experience. And fade out music can only mean one thing. We have made it to the Spring of the Beasts, aka the lair of the boss. And this boss should be looking awfully familiar. And he has quite a bit of health. And his hitbox is a little weird because he spends most of his time up on the vine rather than down on the ground. And if he's down on the ground, he's most likely kicking you in the face. And that's not good. So you kind of want to keep him on the vine. But at the same rate, you can't quite tell where his hitbox is. As you can see, I've got it pretty good right here. So I'm going to be a little cheap. But now I'm going to let this kind of drag on a little bit. Make it look like I'm actually struggling. I'm not really. I'm going to see if I can hit him with a special. He's going to throw some nuts at me. And he has a couple of pretty devastating attacks. Like, while he's up there, he can kick you in the face. He can launch himself into the sky and come down and make a pretty big shockwave. I'm not going to let him do it, though. I'm just going to murder him, and his little Ducate buddies are going to come along and carry him off so that we can't get the 50,000 lucre. See? I knew it was going to happen. Can't get the 50,000 lucre that his tail would have awarded me. Now these guys come back, just watching me kick the crap out of that thing. And now we're back from outer space. And there's a debriefing. And we get some lucre. And we can take it and get paid. And he'll also give us some artifacts. Oh, just the one artifact. And that's the end of that quest. And like all other characters in this game, we'll be running into the three of them real soon. Again. Well, maybe not necessarily real soon, but we'll definitely be seeing them again. So let's go back home and talk to our cactus. And I think I'm going to squeeze in one more quest before I call it an episode. Some of the later quests get pretty long, so I'm going to try to squeeze in 2 to 3 quests wherever I can. And this seems like a pretty good time to do one because it's not... It hasn't been very long. Only about 12 minutes or so. And the next quest isn't very long either. And it takes place in a land that is all too familiar with us now, which is the jungle. So let's go back there. Welcome to the jungle. I'm surprised I didn't make that joke already. What is wrong with me? So back here in the jungle, we will see a guy who is new to us. He is a psychokinetic teleport service, and we want to go to the Courtyard of Rain, I believe, I hope. And similar to in the quest we just did, we want to kill all the enemies here, and I recognize these enemies, so I know I'm in the right place. Friggin' butterfly, glue moth, zombies. You got zombies in your jungle, and they're doing the thriller. I don't know why I feel like singing so much. I usually actually kind of think of it, I kind of sometimes always feel like singing. Kind of very indecisive phrasing of that statement. But I mean, there are certain things that just remind me of songs, and I'm getting eaten alive, literally, by these zombies, which I suppose is fair enough. It's what they're supposed to do. according to pop culture. You don't have to abide to pop culture. Oh hey, penguin. And she'll cast a spell on us so we won't get lost. And that's important for this quest because it's important not to get lost. We don't want to go this way. I'm going to avoid as many battles as I could because, quite frankly, I am incredibly lazy, although this battle is much more annoying than the battle I would have gotten into. So I wasted a special. Those tomato men, the bear-tatoes, as I will call them from now on, never drop experience. They always will only drop either candy or an item. And more often than not, it's candy. And it's infuriating, and it's the main reason why I don't like them. They're not too difficult to kill. Nothing in this game really is too difficult to kill. But they're just annoying. It's never any fun when you kill an enemy and they don't lead to any experience. So you want to end up back in the courtyard. No. Where is this? Rosetti's Throne. I talked to this new penguin named Selkie. And apparently we got an evil spell cast on us. And she's going to get rid of it for us if we help her understand why the fairies are being jerks. The Murmuring Forest. That's another thing, or another reason why I feel like there are really only 3 story arcs, even though as you can clearly tell there are more, is that with certain story arcs you get special quest intro screens. What is a nun of Gato doing in the fairy land? And why are the fairies kicking her? The priestess looks like a million-year-old hag. Is she, though? Is she the one? No, Lord Irwin said the priestess is 26. Has not our Lord mistaken her age? That is too young. Our last queen was 28,732 years old. The new queen is a human. They live for about 500 years. Pfft, 500 years? More like 500 years. Ho ho! Oh, this douche. I don't like this guy. He's not a nice person. So let's investigate. You! Take her to Ricciati. See, that's kind of bleh. Trying to get my words out here. I've never pronounced half of these names outside of my head. So I'm gonna, in my head I say the bleh, meh. Get my thoughts out here. I say the name of the wisdom here as Rossetti, even though I can clearly see that's not how it's spelled, and I'm completely ignoring this quest. Basically, the fairies are discussing the fact that their Lord Irwin has selected a 26-year-old lady to be her queen, their queen, and I'm going to get murdered here. And the fairy, it's part of the reason why the fairies are acting up, and then Escad comes along and murders all the fairies and tells us to figure out what the true cause of it here is in the jungle. So naturally, when you only have one way to go, we carry on to the left, because it was the only way for us to go. And we'll eventually come along something good, I hope. And I completely derailed my original thought, which is that if I get some of these pronunciations wrong, I'm terribly sorry, but I mean, it's several years of conditioning, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. No, he tried to kiss me. You can't kiss me. That's against... Oh, he did. Now I'm tiny. I don't exactly know what tiny does, other than obviously make you tiny. Because, as far as I can tell, you're usually what it does in RPGs is it makes your strength go down, but my strength was exactly the same, and I was able to murder him just fine. But no matter, we will carry on. Oh man, fade out music can only mean one thing. Who are you? What is a human like you doing here? Get out of my sight. Fight! How foolish you humans are. So this less than intimidating guy is the Punk Master, I believe, which is a less than intimidating name. He's not very difficult other than the fact that he's kind of small and his hitbox as a result is a little difficult to figure out. But no boss in this game really is terribly difficult, and with these smaller bosses, they don't use any of the special techniques that the large bosses use. I think the closest they get is magic attacks. Like this boss, what I'm trying to say is this boss is molded off an enemy, kind of like the Giga Rex in the Diddle's Letter quest, and he doesn't like become invincible and start flashing black. He will just sit there and take whatever you give him, so you can just use your special techniques on them pretty much whenever you want, and it's almost guaranteed, assuming you line it up correctly, to hit. So they're not. Imagine how difficult the average boss is, which is not very difficult, and those kinds of bosses are generally easier. So by defeating the Monk Master, we have finished the quest, and Rossetti has been sleeping the entire time. But at least it gets the fairies out of the jungle. And now when you go back to the jungle, you can have fun and games in the fairy section. They're no longer there and they won't teleport you back to the entrance. And I believe if you carry on that path, you will run across an egg. I'm not entirely sure, don't quote me on that, because unless you're into that sort of thing, which is egg farming, there's never really a reason for you to head back in that direction. But with the finishing of that quest, we're going to talk to our cactus, and then we're going to call it an episode. If you like this part, please hit like. If you really like it, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comment section below. In the next part, we will carry on with questing on the fairy chain. It's the main story arc we're going to be doing for this introductory bit, and I believe I'm going to off-screen train a little bit so that I can get some abilities. But I will see you in the next one. Bye.